Hello everyone, I hope that you all are doing well. And let's start with our next video. So in a previous video, we covered different types of data structures and what are the different data structures are there, algorithms and all. So basically, data structures are designed to store, manipulate and manage the data. It's in more efficient way uh, for the faster performance, standardization and etc. Now, data structures can be implemented in a different languages and a different classes interfaces. Now, in this video, we are going to start with basic data types available in a C sharp and what are the different features and different different data types are available. So let's go ahead. So I'm considering that the basic primitive data types you all aware about. So I'm not s- explaining those things again. Still, if you want that explanation and if you want to go through it again, revisit it again, so you can continue with the documentation, uh, Microsoft documentation, where you're able to see under the language features. When you open it, under the language feature, you're able to see there is a option data types and all the related data types are available. So basically data types are nothing but all the values that are stored in a computer memory or participate in an evolution of expression. Okay. Now every variable, literal, constant, enumeration, property, procedure parameter, procedure argument, and everything written value, everything has a data type. So, how to declare the data type in ASP.NET and what are the different values you can store in a different data types, you can go ahead with it and type characters. So all the features, basic things are available here. You can go through it if you are not aware about it or if you want to revisit it again. So sometimes we need kind of a brush ups on the concepts. So you can go through it. But what I'm focusing in today's video is all about a composite data type because we are mostly deal with these kinds of a data types and it is little bit important to brush up these concepts. I'm considering that this concept's also clear to you all, but still, this is little bit we are using it. It should be handy, and all the concepts about this composite data type should be clear. So we will start with it. Now, in ASP.NET, there are different data types are available. Composite data types are available and composite data type normally refers to the data type which is made up of another data types. Okay, so nothing but a collection combination of different data types. Okay, so examples of these data types are collections, structs and classes. So composite data type can be used to group multiple related values into a single entry. So hence breakdown of the common composite data types in ASP.NET as follows in the next few slides. So first example is of class. Obviously, class contains the combination of all different data types. Class is used to explain or define object. Object has a different properties and different properties may store the different data type values. So like you can see in this example, there is an employee has ID, name and hire date and all these variables of different data types. And the combination of these data types is wrapped under one composite data type and that is nothing but an employee. So composite data types is something you can divide into multiple other types. For example, again, one more example, a box that contains more boxes. Mm, if you want the box, if the box is empty, then it's an elementary data type. A box that contains another box is an composite data type. So because you can separate it into the smaller. So there are two boxes. So we can say as a box with has nothing and box with contain another box. So box contain nothing is an elementary one and box contain another box is a composite one. So you have to represent mobile game. Okay, so how you can divide that into the smaller objects to be to understand better or represent it. The mobile contains the information such as, or you can say the character. Okay, we can say it as a character of a particular game, or Counter Strike. It contains kind of a its name, what are the kind of attacks are there, hit points are there, equipments are there. Now its name could be represented as a string. Then it's a, again it's a elementary type. One string contains one value. Okay, hit points are represented with a number, and again it's a so simple type. And empty boxes you can keep it. If you follow above examples, uh, what about its equipments? Okay, so the particular character having a multiple equipments, correct? So it could be represented with a composite data type, or an array of a strings, or it contains some kind of a sword, some kinds of arrows are there. So there are, it has a multiple values. So name and points are nothing but a elementary data type, but the equipment may be the composite data type. Okay. So composite type, why? Because you can separate it into the smaller bunches of objects. Now for attacks, we need one more, uh, which is more than a string or a number. Okay. So we need a name as well as how much damage it should provide to the enemy, but also some extra effects that can reflect. Okay. So this would be the another box which contain another box. So lately you can think of a composite data type for the this particular attribute. Okay, attack attribute. So in a one object, or in a one group, it may be another smaller group. It may be, it is made up of some elementary and composite data type, and again it's grouped into one composite data type. So this is the perfect example. And if you want the simplest example, employee is already there. Now another composite data type is a struct. It's a similar like classes, and but they have a value type instead of a reference type like classes are representing. They are typically used for the smaller data structures, and that contains only simple fields and have no need of a inheritance. Simple fields are there. There is no need inheritance. So if you are, if your object is not that much complicated and it's a little bit simplified, having the values which are simple, no need of inheritance, then you can use and go ahead with the struct. Next, another composite data type is a tuple. So normally, in tuples provide lightweight way to group the multiple elements into the single entity without creating a custom class or a struct. So it's a simple one single line or a row. Okay. So we, instead of creating multiple, we can create a one single line by using the tuple. When it combines single entity without creating a need with, if you don't want to need that particular structure, then obviously you can create a tuple. Tuple provides a lightweight way to group multiple elements into a single entity without creating the custom class or a struct. So if you can see here, it is the example. Next one is the record. It's I think it's got copy pasted again and again. Tuple example. Now records are reference type in a C sharp that offers concise syntax for defining immutable types, and they are commonly used for the data transfer, data transfer objects in a data transfer objects. So for example, if you want to store the employee record, then it will be the type of a record, and whatever the columns names you have in the employee table, that will get reflected, or whatever the columns you want to fetch, that we normally map over here, and we combine them in the composite data type called as a record. Now it's a most familiar and common composite data type, which is an array. So we already discussed all these things about array. You can go through it. List and other collections. So collections also considered as a composite data type. So now list is there, dictionary is there, hash set is there, queue is there, and common composite types are available in a generic as well as non-generic namespaces in a ASP.NET. So here is one example where we are storing the list of a string employee names, and it's storing multiple values in it. Next is a dictionary. Mostly we used it in the key and value pair. Allows you to store key and value pair, and which can be useful when mapping the value to the unique keys. So always remember, in case of a key and value pair data structures, key is always should be unique. And so in this case, we are talking about dictionary, and the dictionary of type first one is the key and second one is nothing but your value. So in this employee dictionary, the first value is integer, and which is a key, and second value is a string. Now there are some examples. There are some values added to it. Now data contracts and data transfer object. Now DTO again considered as a composite data type. So these often stores the whole record, whole value of your table, and that are used in a web APIs and services for data transfer between the client and server. So DTO is a typically class. Obviously, class is a composite data type. So it's another name or nomenclature of a class which contains the whole value which is received from our database. So when we are going to convert it into the DTO, typically it's a class with properties that map to the fields in your database or other storages. So, for example, there is an employee class or employee table in your database. Database contains employee ID, column name, then name of the employee, and then department. Similarly, in a DTO class, there are the similar properties are available. So we can easily map that table's value into your DTO object. So it's combining the multiple values. Again, it's a type of a composite data. Anonymous types, okay, you can create an anonymous class. So obviously the anonymous class is also considered as a composite data type. So here you can see anonymous types allows you to create a composite type on the fly without defining the normal or formal class. Composite data types are useful in ASP.NET for encapsulating the related data and passing them between the layers of your application. Okay, such as between UI, backend, then there are middlewares, then there are APIs, then there are DTO classes. Okay, so it's really difficult to transfer the data. Okay, if you are using the elementary data types. But because of the composite data types, what we do, we wrap the different elementary data types and composite data type together into a single composite data type, and it is easy to transfer the data by means of a composite data type. So these composite data types are really useful when we are dealing with the data transfers throughout the layers. Okay, so we have a different components, we have a different layers in our applications. Okay, there is a controller, there are some model classes, there are some middlewares, there are some filters, there are some DTO classes, there are some APIs. Okay, so in which we are transferring data layer to layer, and because of the composite data type, it will be little bit easy for us. So the importance of a composite data type, obviously, understanding composite data types is more important for several reasons, especially in the software development environment like ASP.NET or any modern programming framework. Why? Because encapsulation and organization of a data is really important thing in every development, and that happens because of these particular composite data type. Code reusability then simplifies the data management and manipulation, scalability and maintainability, improves communication between the layers or services, error reduction and type safety is there, leverage object-oriented programming principles. We are using encapsulations. And again, we are supporting that. Improves testing and debugging. Okay, whole thing you can test at a time. Then efficient use of a memory and performance optimization facilitates clear API designing. Okay. Now, in web application, there is an order object may contain details such as the order number, customer details, list of ordered items, and total amount. Grouping these things into a simple composite types allows better encapsulation and clearer code. Now, instead of passing individual parameters for the order, okay, it is really useful to pass the whole object of an employee and reducing the repetition and potential errors. Next is nothing but our simplifies the data management and manipulation. Next one is the scalability and maintainability. Like you can extend an order class by adding more fields, okay, without breaking the existing functionality. So by using inheritance, you can do it. You can maintain the existing class as well as you can add the more functionality, and that leads more maintainable and code basis as the application evolves. Next is in ASP.NET Web APIs, you typically use composite types. Okay, like DTOs. Already we have discussed these things. This makes it's easier to serialize and deserialize the complex data structures into JSONs or XML formats for communication. Next, obviously, the whole thing is wrapped. So passing object um, which is wrapped, okay, into another object which is less error prone than passing the three separate things or four separate things individually throughout the layers. Now, next one is nothing but object oriented programming principles. We can implement the inherits, we can implement the encapsulation and polymorphism. These things we can easily implement, and each adding specific details while still being able to handle all types of data in a uniform way. Obviously, one unit you can test properly. Next one is a use efficient, okay, memory performance, right? So in scenarios where memory overhead is concerned, using struct instead of a classes for lightweight data structures can reduce the memory allocation and improves the performance. So again, the whole concept of this particular section is that you should know which data type and which data structure is useful in which scenarios, what really matters to you. Okay, what is your product requirement? So based on you have to, these are the options. Okay, this is the option, this is the option, this is the option. But if this is the scenario, which option is beneficial for you? So again, if you want to improve the performance, like is this you have a odd option, okay, instead of class you can go ahead with the struct and all. So in summary, understanding the composite data types is essential and it is really useful because it provides you lots of different advantages. So in the next video, we can start with the actual collections. Okay, there are different types of different concepts are there in a collection. Okay, there are generic, non-generic, concurrent collections are there, immutable collections are there. Then there are some concepts of a link queue, and which are really useful because finally we are dealing with these things only in a ASP.NET projects. And so let's understand when to use, because till now we are just talking about the theoretical part and advantages and disadvantages of abstract data structures, what are the different data types available, how to use it. Now we will understand what are the different implementations of these concepts are provided in ASP.NET and how to use it and which in which condition which uh, implementations are useful. So that thing we will understand in a next video. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. Have a good day.